It's the last summit window of the Everest season.
Climbing Everest never gets easier.
Expedition leader Russell Brice has just 5 days to get his slowest climbers to the top of the world.
I've been lucky up until now. Who knows? It could all go terribly wrong.
There's a dead body up there.
My chances of getting to the top right now are pretty slim.
They're racing a violent storm to the summit.
No one wants to tell me what the weather's doing.
But when illness strikes at altitude, they're just fighting to stay alive.
Chris is very, very ill and very worried about it.
You're not sure how many are going to come home.
Mountaineering legend Russell Brice has one last team on Everest this year. But getting them to the summit won't be easy. They're his weakest climbers.
I just can't get my breath.
For nearly 2 months, they've been acclimatizing their bodies for the highest place on Earth. 29,035 feet.
Is the body made for it? You know, am I big enough for the dream?
But they have a lot more than altitude to overcome. South African Robbie Coyerton. 3 years ago, a climbing accident put him in a wheelchair. Doctors said he'd never climb again.
I can walk, but I can't trust my own body. Could be worse, could be in a wheelchair still. I managed to shatter everything from the ankle down. I can't turn my feet outward like that. It's just a bit of a mess, really. I'm going to push as far as possible, absolutely as far as possible.
Crab fisherman Alec Turner already lived life at the edge. For years, he fished the Bering Sea in his native Alaska.
When I did it, was the deadliest job in the world. You can die going to work in the morning.
During months of training, Alec has been the slowest climber on Russell's team.
Big boy, that'll be hard work for him. He has to push a lot of weight up the mountain.
Just tired, fatigued.
Chris Macklin, a 27-year-old British lawyer, is the team's youngest climber.
I'm nervous. Everest is the mecca of climbing, I guess, for people like me.
Chris, young, enthusiastic, not too much good technique.
I am ridiculously excited to be here, and yeah, can't wait to get on the mountain.
Just getting these climbers to the summit is the biggest challenge of Russell Brice's career.
Roger.
And now they're in a hurry. A massive storm system is closing in on the mountain. When it hits, the climbing season's over.
There's still concerns about the weather. If you've got people climbing in mountains, things can go wrong, so of course it's a little bit worrying.
The team has just 5 days to reach the summit, the same pace as faster climbers. Midnight at Everest Base Camp. For Robbie, Alec, and Chris, it's now or never if they're going to summit this year.
This is it. This is the real thing. We're heading for the summit.
Daunting, nerve-wracking.
I'm about to confront the monster of 15 years of dreaming.
Your best shot, man.
I will.
The whole expedition is a battle against the mountain, and the mountain has lots of tricks. It's like people going off to war, but you just never know if something's going to happen, and you're not going to see one of those boys again.
Straight out of base camp, the team tackles the deadliest part of the summit route, the Khumbu icefall.
Hopefully get a good rhythm going and get through the icefall safely and as quickly as possible.
Collapsing towers of ice can wipe out whole teams without warning. Climbers take on the icefall at the coldest time of night, when it's frozen solid and most stable.
Traveling in the dark is psychologically better. You can't see all the hanging ice above you.
The Khumbu icefall has already claimed one life this season, a Sherpa killed in an avalanche.
There's a dead body up there, so it makes it hell of a real. You've got to just keep a little bit of faith, and I hope to hell that's not you.
Ladders bridge crevasses hundreds of feet deep.
You sort of can't help but look down, and that does sort of send your heart racing.
Of course I look down. I look into the abyss of the earth. Some people just focus on trying to get across to the other side. I focus on getting across to the other side with a view. I love it.
After 10 hours of climbing, the team reaches Camp 2 at 21,000 feet.
The hill was getting easier.
It takes them nearly twice as long as Russell's other climbers.
Good job. Good job.
Even 27-year-old Chris Macklin is exhausted. But South African Robbie Coyerton can barely walk.
How are you? Not good. My ankles are like solid.
Your ankles okay? No.
Congratulations, bud. Thank you, big guy. Hey, well done to you.
You.
You're in champion. Can't move my feet. No movement in my ankles. 2 pairs of socks. Constriction bandage to help lemon movement and provide a little bit of support. A lot of good that did. So scared Russell says, you know, sorry. Can't do this on your hands and knees. I don't want to turn around.
He gets a lot of pain in his ankles when he's walking long distances. It slows him down, it makes him slightly more clumsy, and all of those things together are potentially dangerous in this situation.
After a long first day, they still have 4 grueling days of climbing and 8,000 feet of Everest to go.
Good.
5 a.m. Chris Macklin and Alec Turner wake up to a new problem that's spreading through Camp 2.
There's a bit of dysentery going around.
It's going to run for a bit.
Had a few bouts with my stomach last night.
Not good.
At extreme altitudes, any disease is dangerous. The immune system needs oxygen to defend the body. Without it, a common illness can be fatal.
I guess getting up there and getting sick is something that I'm dreadfully scared of.
Along with Chris, Robbie, and Alec, 54-year-old Jim Holliday also starts the day suffering diarrhea. But the clock is ticking. They have to keep climbing to reach the summit.
You know, the climbing starts now as we start heating up, really.
Ahead, the western Khumbu, a deep valley of ice that acts like a giant sun reflector. Most teams cross the Khumbu as early in the day as possible.
It's an incredibly hot place. During the day, you need to be finished doing any movement there by 10 o'clock in the morning, otherwise you're just going to cook everyone up.
When the sun clears the surrounding peaks, temperatures can reach 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
I'm already sweating.
Breathing the dry air, all climbers face dehydration. But diarrhea and sweating make it severe. An hour out of Camp 2, the stomach illness claims its first victim.
Just relax.
Jim Holliday is barely conscious and at risk of going into shock.
Are your hands warm?
Stalled in the western Khumbu, as temperatures soar, the team waits for help to arrive. Expedition leader Russell Brice manages the rescue operation from base camp.
Sanjay, what's up?
Just go up, just lie down on the snow.
Holliday still isn't responding. Passing climbers stop to help, including a registered nurse.
Before collapsing, he was dizzy.
Okay.
Are your hands warm?
I give you one injection now.
You're gonna feel a bit of a prick. It's on you.
Hang in there, buddy.
Yes, Sanjay. He's not unconscious, you can see, but just show a bit of it.
Sinji, don't bring gum off bag. Can the shippers bring oxygen, please?
Russell's Sherpas at Camp 2 can reach Holliday the fastest with bottled oxygen. Holliday's body can't fight the illness until he descends. But breathing pure oxygen should revive him enough to start down.
Update on Sherpas, they left. Thank you.
Just relax.
In 1 minute, Georgie is here 1 minute. We'll probably swap you to our oxygen.
Is that too tight? No.
Okay. So Jim is now travelling with the Sherps. He's heading down. Yeah, roger.
The other climbers with the same illness could be next. They're hours behind schedule and need to get to Camp 3 fast. But they've got over 1,000 feet of climbing in the western Khumbu, with temperatures already over 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
hot now. It's midday. We're in the Khumbu. We should have been through this a few hours ago. All the places on it to be at midday. This is it.
And after the western Khumbu, they still have a long way to go. First, the Lhotse face, a near vertical wall of glacial ice to Camp 4 at 26,000 feet. Then the South Summit and the Hillary Step before the top of the world. The summit route. Only one climber in 3 who leaves base camp makes it all the way. The Lhotse face, a nearly 4,000-foot test of climbing skill and stamina.
It's 45 to 60 degrees of hell, straight up.
Each step on the glacial ice is jarring for the metal pins in Robbie's feet.
Using a lot of footwork was quite painful for me. There's lots of blue ice, and it's not pleasant. Blue ice is the hard, solid stuff where the only thing that bites is the teeth in your crampons.
If you weren't clipped in and you made a mistake, you would potentially fall all the way to the bottom, which would be anywhere from 1 foot to 2,000, 3,000 foot to the camp. Quite intimidating.
As Jim Holiday descends into the denser air at lower altitudes, he starts to recover.
Russ, this is Jim. I'm back at Camp 2.
When I got up this morning, I wasn't feeling quite right. I'm a little bit embarrassed on the way up. I unloaded in my pants and I was dizzy the whole way up.
Yeah, Roger, Jim, we're pretty disappointed for you.
And I just want to say thanks to all these guys. They were going to save my life.
Back on the Lhotse face, 27-year-old Chris Macklin is also battling the stomach illness at every step. Former Alaskan crab fisherman Alec is 500 feet below Chris and dropping further behind the rest of the team.
23,300. Highest I've ever been.
Alec isn't the fastest person here. He'll find the Lhotse wall hard because he's quite a big boy. It'll be hard work for him.
I'm drier than a whale's ass on a beach.
8 hours after leaving Camp 2, the team staggers into Camp 3, carved precariously into the Lhotse face at 23,500 feet. But their relief is short-lived. Overnight, the storm they're racing gets upgraded to a cyclone.
Tomorrow, the forecast is for about double the wind. After that, it gets even more windy.
They have less than 36 hours to get to the summit and descend.
Be a little bit windy today. It was a little bit more cloudy with a front that came in that I wasn't really expecting.
A stomach illness is spreading through the team, already ending one climber's summit bid.
I trained really hard for this trip, and the mountain beat me.
Robbie, Alec, and Chris are headed to Camp 4. Above 24,000 feet, there is about a third the oxygen the human body needs. They'll use supplemental oxygen the rest of the way.
Yeah. The oxygen makes a big difference. It's a lot warmer.
Robbie's injured ankles stiffen up overnight and take hours to get loose again.
Right foot's not moving yet.
Yeah.
Solid, yeah.
Take slow.
Down at base camp, expedition leader Russell Brice tracks the approaching storm.
What we're always interested in is what's happening in the Barbean Gall down here, and if that's going to swing up and come over the top of us.
The cyclone is 24 hours away. His climbers need to be off the mountain before it hits. As the team arrives at Camp 4, the winds are already peaking at 40 miles per hour.
I'm in Camp 4.
444.
My right foot. I don't know what it is. It's just jammed up. I think I've trapped some nerves. So stupid. Oh my God, I'm in a lot of pain. I just need to get painkillers. Strap it tight. Elevate it.
Robbie has 8 hours to rest his ankles before leaving for the summit at 11 o'clock tonight. But at base camp, time is working against Russell Brice.
What I saw today is that the wind is quite strong during the night and it's going to ease off, so I'm going to talk to the guys because I think that by leaving later we'll get a better wind envelope.
Gambling the winds will die down, Russell delays the team's departure to 1 a.m. That means 2 hours more rest, but 2 hours less before the storm hits Everest.
Camp 4. The place I've ever been in my whole life. I don't see a big postcard industry for Camp 4, I must be honest.
As departure hour approaches, nobody is getting sleep.
No. I'm trying. I've done it 1,000 times, but I'm looking at it now trying to figure out if my leg loops are straight, if the buckles are the right way, if it's my harness.
And the winds aren't dying down.
That wind is gonna cut. It's gonna cut through us all day.
The wind is scary. It's cold. Might have to suffer a bit of wind to get there. But them's the mountains for you, eh? Big, high and cold in general.
Oh well, in Russ we trust. Yeah.
He wouldn't let us go off if he didn't think that it was going to die down.
The worst that could happen is somebody's going to keel over and we're going to have to come to their rescue.
Robbie prepares his smashed ankles for 16 hours of climbing.
Strapped it really tight. Foot warmers on. I'm gonna take painkillers now with breakfast. Better do, I guess. What choice do I have?
Well, you don't have to go up.
Sorry?
You don't have to go up.
I don't have to go up.
That's a choice?
No, it's a choice, but it's not a choice I'm wanting to make at this stage. I'm still getting one foot in front of the other, so I'm still going.
At this altitude, their bodies are defenseless against the stomach bug. It hits Chris Macklin the hardest.
I'm feeling pretty shocking. I've had a dodgy stomach for the last 2 days, which I can't seem to get rid of.
Woody, anyone left yet?
Well, we're just in those last phases of getting crampons on.
After crab fishing in the Bering Sea, Alec knows all about danger, but he's never experienced anything like this.
Today's a really big day. Hopefully we'll top out. Got about, 3,000 vertical feet to climb, above 26,000 feet. It's pretty intimidating.
Where's your shipper? I don't know. Oh, for sakes. Going now.
It's easing actually. Woody, got a speed for the wind?
Yeah, wind speed maybe 15 kilometers. Over.
Yeah, okay, great.
1 a.m. There's finally a drop in the winds, just as Russell predicted. But Robbie, Alec, and Chris are still facing the hardest day of their lives.
See you later. Good night.
Every team knows today's their last chance to summit this year. Long lines are already forming on the mountain.
With so many people on the hill, that's when mistakes and problems start arising.
Russell follows his team from base camp through Discovery's cameras on the Sherpas' helmets.
Yeah, Roger. It's good to see where people are. It's a little bit nerve-wracking watching them and seeing how slow they're going.
Since Alec Turner got to Everest, he's been Russell's slowest climber. But today, he's in overdrive. Ahead of more than a dozen teams, all trying to summit before the storm ends the climbing season.
Summit 2 hours? Yeah.
He's going fast. He's never usually that fast.
It's amazing, isn't it?
They just pull it out of the bag on summit day.
Heading to the south summit right now.
You're a good man.
At the South Summit, Alec and Sherpa Dorji Sonam have 500 vertical feet to go. It's a short stop to switch to their second bottle of oxygen. This canister has to get them to the summit and back down the mountain.
I have my beaver mitts, which are primarily used in Alaska for dog sledding. They're for survival.
For emergency!
The high elevations are normally deep in snow. Crampons with metal spikes can't grip against bare rock.
This year the mountain's very dry, you know, there's not a lot of snow. So it's harder underfoot, you know, it requires a bit better sort of footwork. Crampons on rocks, definitely a little bit more trying. It's harder on your legs, harder on your ankles, saps your energy a bit more.
Alec and Dorji are the first to reach the Hillary Step, the 40-foot rock wall less than 300 feet below the summit. Robbie Coyerton and Chris Macklin are an hour behind.
Now we can see the South African Robbie making it up to the south summit. Just as Macklin's leaving.
Robbie and Chris head out across the most exposed section on the mountain, the Cornice Traverse, a narrow ledge with a drop-off of more than a mile on both sides.
When you sign up for Everest, you realize the level of risk. You know that a rescue up there above 8,000 meters is close on impossible. You're running with the big dogs now.
It's the first major traffic jam of the day, in the worst place on the mountain. The only way Robbie can pass other climbers is to unclip from the safety lines, with the edge just inches from his boots. At 7:20 a.m., crab fisherman Alec Turner reaches the massive prayer flags that mark the summit of Everest.
Rusty, copy? Alec, from the top. Beautiful up there. Over. It's windy but beautiful. We won't stay long, we'll go on down. We beat the cloud.
Yeah, that's good. And it's nice to be there with not too many people, so remember you're only halfway.
Top of the world! It's a beautiful sight! It's the best feeling I've had other than having my baby. I wish it was clearer. My ship was 11th summit. Dorji led me to the top. In record time, we passed the whole group.
They're only on the summit a few minutes, and already conditions are getting worse. Alec and Dorji need to descend before they're trapped on top of the mountain.
I'm getting cold. I'm gonna help you get down now. You show me what to do. Yeah?
8:30 a.m. Chris and Robbie are stuck in an Everest nightmare at 28,750 feet. Long lines at the Hillary Step are waiting to go in both directions. And it's only wide enough for one climber at a time.
Definitely one of the hazards these days is traffic, and you're going to get sections on the route where it's narrow, it's awkward, you've got people going up, people going down. Protocol is interesting actually because you might be polite and wait, but you'll do yourself no favour because then everybody will just keep coming in. So you've got to be a bit pushy sometimes, to the point of being rude. Off and get out of my way.
Standing still at this altitude, their body temperatures drop, increasing the risk of frostbite.
From Hillary Step to summit. Yes. How long? It's maybe 40 minutes. 40 minutes, yes.
When you say what price are you willing to pay for the summit? I don't know. Yeah. 1 finger, 2 fingers? Is that stupid? Is that irresponsible?
Yeah, okay, Alec, you're heading back down, I take it.
As Alaskan Alec Turner starts to descend, freezing winds pound the mountain.
Be careful coming down.
How far are you below the Hillary?
Alec, look up with your ass.
At the bottom of the Hillary Step, it's the first time Alec's seen teammates Chris and Robbie since they left Camp 4. Chris and Robbie finally get their shot at the most famous landmark on Everest.
There's the Hillary Step.
The metal pins in Robbie's ankles can barely take the impact of his crampons scraping against bare rock.
The amount of pain that's going to be involved for me to get to the summit is considerable. And I fear if I get to the top, I'm just hoping my feet will hold it together long enough to get me down.
People say no so far. Summit.
The top of the mountain will soon be too dangerous for climbers. Robbie and Chris have very little time to summit and descend. But on the final slope to the summit, Chris stops moving. The illness that almost killed Jim Holiday is coming on strong. His diarrhea is so severe, there's nothing he can do to stop it.
See that crowd of people? That's the stuff that Jim's made of, mate. Summit! That's it.
As Chris waits out the wave of illness, Robbie climbs the last few feet to the summit.
Okay. Thank you so much.
We're just over the moon, 2.5 years project. And it's here. It's finally done.
Less than 100 feet below, Chris is so sick, every step takes an epic effort. By the time he reaches the summit, Chris can't even stand up.
Sering Tashi with Chris Macklin here.
Sering Tashi, summit, over.
Pretty much stomach.
Macklin's not feeling too good, his gut going great.
Someone check Macklin.
Chris needs help just getting to his feet. But he has no choice. He has to descend under his own power. A rescue from the summit of Everest is impossible.
Tell me what the weather's doing. I didn't copy what the weather is doing.
Conditions are quickly going from bad to worse.
Woody, tell me what the weather's doing. No one wants to tell me what the weather's doing.
Well, yeah, wind like around 40 kilometers, and we're in the clouds for this.
You guys need to hurry up down.
Robbie here. Yes, we've just started the descent.
There are only two choices for Chris: descend or die.
I don't feel very worried, and until everyone gets back to base camp, I will continue to do so. Success is getting home. Success is not the summit.
Chris Macklin's fighting a severe stomach illness. He's so sick the team can only descend to Camp 4. But his body can't start to recover until he reaches lower altitudes. At 26,000 feet, he'll just keep getting weaker and weaker.
Chris is very, very ill and very worried about it.
They have to descend soon, but they'll be trapped at high elevations by the approaching storm.
We tested some ideas today already, it's not working. Any other suggestions from the doc?
Tell Nally to look, see if there's any codeine.
Yeah. Nali, have a look and see if there's any codeine, which will also lock him up.
Chris is barely able to stand up. It takes two guides, Woody and Gnarly, to help him down. The guides have to keep him moving. The slopes of Everest are filled with the bodies of climbers who sat down and never got up again. At the bottom of the Lhotse face, Chris is reunited with Robbie Coyerton, his climbing partner from Summit Day.
I was ahead and they caught me up. He's strong. I was expecting to hear bad news about him, but he was a dead man.
Chris gets stronger with every step down to a lower altitude.
On summit day, I managed to diarrhea myself 7 times. Most undignified thing I've ever done in my life. I'm not so pleased with, you know, having 2 guys have to bring me down and getting the on the head of me step. Sorry. Coming down the world's most famous mountain on arguably the world's most famous part, and you crap your pants. It's the most embarrassing thing of my life. At the moment, I'm absolutely, I can't find the words. I can find the words, but they're probably not suitable for television.
The next day, Russell's troops are out in force, giving Alec a traditional base camp welcome for climbers returning from the summit.
Coming down, I couldn't believe I did it. It was hairball. I mean, just totally sketchy. I mean, it was like totally wild.
Snow confirms Russell's forecast. His last team reaches base camp just as the storm moves in.
Oh, done. Done? I don't know what else to say. It's done.
Robbie Coyerton receives the next hero's welcome, just 2 years after doctors told him he'd never climb again.
Most painful, but the most amazing day of my life. It's not quite real yet, actually.
Survival of the fittest to get down off the mountain.
Hey, stop.
I guess I kicked ass off.
With Chris Macklin in base camp, all of Russell's climbers make it safely off the mountain this year.
Amazing, but also ridiculously difficult. I just had to something in my head going, don't give up yet, don't give up yet. It's made me quite proud of myself in that I can push myself when I need to.
Come on.
Russell Brice closes the books on another climbing season. A simple check nets to the name of every guide, Sherpa, and climber returning safely. It's Russell's biggest year on Everest. A total of 58 members of his team stood on top of the world, the most ever for a single expedition.
It's hard not to get emotional now. We should be happy because we're all back again, all toes, fingers, and we're back here. Thanks for the good team spirit. You should be proud of that team spirit. We don't get to the summit without the help of our guides, especially the Sherpas, because without the Sherpas, not one of you guys would reach the summit.
3 feet of snow falls in the night, signaling the end of another climbing season. In 2009, 445 climbers summited Everest. While 4 paid the ultimate price for the dream of standing on top of the world.